These two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
And I lack the sound effects, but this is a Reckless Speculation Thursday. Mackey out at some conference. Too important for us. Declan out at a wedding in California. Too important for us. Judd, AJ, Doogie, though. We are here, and Doogs, a Reckless Speculation Thursday. Ordinarily, lots of times we start with the Vikings. We start something else, but let's get right to it. Let's start with the Wolves. Horrendous performance on Tuesday. Chris Finch goes after Ant, which I loved after the game on Tuesday. Then yesterday, like a boxer in the corner, works over the officials. They are grabbing Gobert. The Golden State Warriors are the 67 Packers with Jerry Kramer. So storylines galore. Steph Curry out for at least a week, maybe the whole series. Give me the latest, the reckless speculation from your end about what we're going to see in Game 2 and about where this series might be going.
It remains juicy, Judd. I'm thoroughly disappointed that you don't have full control. So you mean to tell me you are the pilot. You're no longer the co-pilot.
No.
You don't have the button to fire off the reckless speculation sounder?
I've got no sounders. I don't have the yoke. I don't have anything.
Well, heck, your setup then, Judd, is more broken than the Wolves' offense in Game 1. I'd like to think...
Well put.
Like, there's a reason why, and I completely get it, that the Wolves remain the betting favorite to advance to the West Finals. Like, they are going to play better tonight because, hey, not exactly going on a limb, it's hard to play worse. So what exactly does that look like? Because I was in this space on Tuesday suggesting, from everything I could gather, that the Wolves were ready to go. Lengthy layoff last year before Game 1 against Phoenix. Played well, won. Lengthy layoff this year before Game 1 against the Lakers. Played their best game so far of the postseason. Everything suggested to me they were ready to rock and roll on Tuesday. Then Ant's energy level, settling for some long shots, it just spiraled out of control. I imagine one of many adjustments we will see tonight, Judd, is a concerted effort, whether it's Randall, Nas when he checks in, even Gobert, not that Gobert's going to attempt 10 or 11 or 12 shots, but a concerted effort to play inside out. Like, let's not have one of these games where we're taking 37 three-pointers. And then defensively, okay, Jaden McDaniels, he is now freed up. He doesn't need to guard Steph Curry. How exactly do you use Jaden McDaniels throwing multiple bodies, multiple looks at Jimmy Butler? We know Golden State is going to run things through Jimmy. Now, that mind game of, okay, Finch sending in clips, which they always do to the league. Okay, Gobert was being grabbed. Guess what? The Warriors also sent in clips. A lot of it was the way that Curry was being defended in those 13 minutes before he checked out. But that goes both ways. We've seen it. This is a different whistle. The level of physicality. Finch even touched on it last round, alluding to the Warriors-Rockets series. How Finch literally thought there would be an actual fight. Now, hey, it came close many times. But, like, that's what Finch said. So he's acknowledged it's a different whistle. Finch has said that. So I don't know how all of a sudden it's going to be now a different whistle. Maybe for one singular game, possible. But we're still going to see the grabbing and the holding. I mean, there was one possession. Kayvon Looney throws the ball off, I forget who, on the Wolves, so Golden State retains possession. Mm-hmm. He was fouled 3 times before the ball got thrown off the Wolf and went out of bounds. Nothing was called, right? And hey, we can look at some Wolves clips too where they didn't get the whistle. That's the way it's going to be. Golden State turns the ball over. That is not going to change. They turned the ball over a bunch on Tuesday, more than the Wolves. It's on the Wolves. Okay, they're going to turn the ball over. The Wolves defense is going to cause those turnovers that you get in transition. Let's see some transition opportunities. Okay, we get it, the extra pass, better shot selection, but I think there's some easy baskets to be had tonight. It's on the Wolves to convert those baskets.
What is your opinion too? Because I found the Finch mind games, and then Kerr came back and did the same. To your point, talked about Curry, who's now out, but in no way, shape, or form did the officials cost the Wolves that game. Like that was on the
Absolutely
Wolves.
not.
It was a terrible game. They were absolutely bad. What's
Judd,
your?
and had 7 misses at the rim.
I know. Oh,
And it's
believe
not
me,
like all
I was
7
there.
were contested.
No,
They
he was
missed
awful.
16 consecutive three-pointers to start the game.
Yes.
Now, there's some subjectivity to this, but NBA.com, wide open. And again, we can debate what exactly is a wide open look. But per NBA.com, the Wolves had 15 wide open three-point attempts. They missed 11 of those. I just don't think they're going to miss 11 more tonight. I don't think Ant is going to miss 7 looks at the rim again tonight. That's why I have confidence in the Wolves tonight.
What's it going to take to get Dante DiVincenzo going? And I don't mean from game one. First round, I believe right now, three-pointers, he's 7 for 38 in the playoffs. So to me, that's one of the most important things. And you know, heck, Steve Kerr used his damn near entire bench on Tuesday night. There's a very specific amount of guys. I personally would like to see Jalen Clark play. But, you know, right now it's a very small list. Terrence Shannon got in a little bit, but DiVincenzo to me is such an important player because he's a spark plug guy. He's a guy who, with the Knicks in the playoffs last year, was, I think, very good. So what do you think that we are looking at with Dante? Because I think if to win this series, I think he's got to contribute more than what we've seen thus far.
He does. I'm sure deep down, too, like, how hard is it for him to watch what the Knicks are doing right now? All his good friends up 2-0 on the defending champion Celtics. Can you imagine the atmosphere at the Garden for Game 3? I mean, Dante, I wonder what Dante truly, what his emotions are.
Hey, Dante, how you feeling about the Knickerbockers?
But yeah, I mean, bottom line, I mean, I trust his shooting ability. I mean, think about it. At one point, when he was in Sacramento, it was like, will he get a qualifying offer? What was his future? Like 5-6 years ago, there were legit questions about his future. He persevered. So to me, this is just about nothing compared to what he's dealt with in years past. It's shot selection at times, right? But I trust Dante at least improving. I don't know right now on Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I have more faith in Dante delivering than Nickeil. And I'm the same person who locally here in the Twin Cities, pre-game one against the Lakers on Channel 5, a pre-game show, said, hey, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is my X factor for this series. No, he certainly was not. Contract year, I'll continue to say, I've never seen a path where he's back. When you think about Terrence Shannon Jr., the development of Jalen Clark, having 2 picks in the top 35, flexibility with those picks, whether it's a trade or selecting 1 rookie, 2 rookies, whatever it is, like Nickeil, credit to him. He has positioned himself to hit a nice payday this summer. Hired new representation. Well, there's a reason why he hired new representation. That's okay. I think he's fully worthy of a 4-year full mid-level type deal, which is now about $60 million. But you start to wonder, I mean, is the summer weighing on him at all? Heck, he played for Team Canada in the summer. Now, he didn't play a whole lot. That was a bit head-scratching, but are things just starting to catch up in that regard? He's been incredibly durable, right? So you think about some of these guys that had some rest opportunities or injury because of, the rest resulting from an injury, right? That they missed some time during the regular season. Nickeil, incredibly durable, but you start to wonder if, fatigue-wise, mentally, physically, that just there's a lot going on there. So I don't know on Nickeil, Judd. I feel pretty darn good though about Dante that it's a little bit with the shot selection, and that he'll be okay. But yeah, I mean, the numbers are jarring. Remember at the start of the regular season, he didn't shoot the ball well. Then by midseason, you start looking at the numbers, and at the 75% mark of the season, the numbers were pretty good. And so I'd like to think that Dante's figured it out before, that he'll figure it out again.
Dudes, looking ahead to tonight, ruled out for game 2, Steph Curry with that hamstring sprain. Obviously, they're going to be making some changes, hopefully just putting the ball in the basket more. But Chris Finch, game plan-wise, do you expect the Wolves maybe stick to their guns? Or does Steph Curry being out change how they want to attack the game and maybe pressure Golden State in certain areas more?
Oh, absolutely, right? I mean, yes, you are going to see some schematic changes. I can't nail down exactly what, but yeah, I mean, we always do from games 1 to 2, but in this specific case, 100%. And yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, right? I mean, hamstring strain, I mean, we've seen it around here, different levels of a hamstring injury, whether it's Justin Jefferson or Royce Lewis, or now Matt Wallner, go up and down the list. I'm probably leaving out a few athletes. In this case, grade 1 hamstring strain. So the question is he back for game 5? Game 6, or out for the series? But there's no scenario where he's back. We know out tonight, out Saturday, out Monday. So minimum out through, just based on the press release they put out, reevaluated in 1 week. It would take a miracle for him to play on Monday in game 4. So there are 3 straight games minimum where the Wolves don't need to deal with Steph Curry. So yeah, I mean, it's Jaden McDaniels. How exactly is Jaden McDaniels on the defensive end used tonight? What adjustments are made to guard Buddy Hield? I mean, Jaden even alluded to on Wednesday, hey, we need to treat Buddy Hield now like we treat Steph Curry. You look at how he performed Sunday in Houston, game 7, game 1 here. Okay, Steph out. Let's treat Buddy Hield that way. So many different storylines, by the way. One that we haven't brought up. You think about, would that have been the 2016 draft? The Chris Dunn draft. So remember, it was, okay, does Tibbs go Dunn or Jamal Murray or Buddy Hield?
Yeah, I know.
Well, Buddy was not the selection. I can't remember. Was that 2016? AJ, was that the 2016 NBA draft? Chris Dunn 5, Murray, Hield, then went the next 2 picks.
It was the year before.
Hield went 6.
It was the year before the Butler trade, right?
Yeah, he was drafted 2016, 5th overall.
Yeah.
2016, yeah. And Hield went 6, and then Jamal Murray 7. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a conversation, though, right? I mean, the Wolves did all sorts of homework on Buddy Hield.
Right.
They didn't take Buddy Hield, right? I mean, we've brought up so many different intriguing storylines entering this series. Maybe that's one that we should have put more of a spotlight on. But yeah, I mean, there are going to be schematic adjustments, undoubtedly. And I'm telling you, you can't have a game tonight where you are taking 35 to 40 3-pointers. You just can't. You have the size advantage. I'm not suggesting Gobert's taking all sorts of shots tonight, but Randall, Reed, Ant getting to the hoop more. There are certain things where, to me, the Wolves, they'll dominate this entire series, points in the paint. But tonight, to me, they should be plus 35 to plus 45 points in the paint. Maybe that sounds astronomical, but I really believe tonight should be one of those nights where the Wolves, you think about the Warriors plus 39 in game 1 from 3-point land. Tonight, the Wolves need to be plus 30-something points in the paint.
And it's why Finch is trying to get to the officials to alert them to the fact that Gobert is being mugged inside to get his guys more calls. The last thing on this series before we get to the rest of the scoop bag on this Reckless Speculation Thursday, Dukes, is Anthony Edwards. What's your expectation now? I think the Finch going after him was genius. I think that's the smartest thing Chris did. Because he did it publicly for a reason. That was not an accident. Chris Finch didn't go up to the podium mad and think, "Oh my God, what did I just say?" That was all calculated. But I also find it very interesting that there is now a certain pressure on the Wolves and especially Ant because with Steph out, and I think he's done for the series. He's an old man with a bad hamstring. That's going to be a problem. But anyway, there's a pressure now on the Wolves to win because it's basically Jimmy Butler and Buddy Hield against the Wolves and Ant. And what is your expectation for an Ant response tonight in game 2?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, if Steph is out for the series, would not be surprising whatsoever. Draymond, too. Draymond hitting 4 threes in the first half on Tuesday. That's not going to happen again.
I agree.
This series. 4 makes from 3-point land in 1 half. It's hard for me to see. If Draymond does that again, I'll tip my hat and say, okay, congratulations, Draymond, who to me is already going to end up in the Hall of Fame, Ben Wallace in the Hall of Fame. So to me, Draymond will end up in the Hall of Fame, even with all his antics. But like, I can't foresee that happening again. So to me, there was a sliver of luck involved with the Warriors' Game 1 victory. But yeah, absolutely calculated. We know this. Chris Finch can coach Ant incredibly hard. He can mother F him if he needs to. Ant can accept it. The comp I've always made is the way Greg Popovich coached Tim Duncan in San Antonio. And to trickle down. The way Pop coached Duncan was so incredibly hard. Okay, you can then coach Tony Parker the same way. Manu Ginobili, up and down the list, right? It helps that Ant can be coached incredibly hard. And so trust me, there's been a number of screaming, right, directed at Ant. I mean, can you only imagine how tough that film session was on Wednesday? Not just for Ant, for everyone. And hey, they've had a lot of tough film sessions, so I don't know if Wednesday was unique in any regard. But let's just say it was vocal. Put it that way, right? Sure. And one-sided. But yeah, I mean, Finch knew exactly what he was doing when he went to the podium, and I fully expect Ant to respond. But I'm also fully aware that we can go back any number of years, decades. How many 23-year-olds, the alpha, lead their team to the NBA championship? How old was Giannis in 21 when the Bucks won? Was he like 25 or 26? That to me is the one example of the last like 15 to 20 years. A mid-20s alpha leading his team to the NBA championship. We just don't see it. I get it. Ant in basketball years is a veteran, but he's still young, 23 years old. There are not examples of a 23-year-old leading his team to the championship. That's why, to me, the Wolves championship window is open with Ant for many more years when he's 25, 26, 27. Sure. Hopefully he's still here when he's 28. But here at 23, not so sure, just based on NBA history. But for this one particular night, I think Ant responds pretty darn well.
More scoops to come, but before we do get scoops from Doogs, I want to give you a scoop about my friends at MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air, because I'm going to tell you right now, they do fantastic work. I've talked about the work that they did a month or so ago, month plus. My furnace went out. Guess what? They came to the rescue right away. The air part becomes incredibly important as summer comes on and it gets warmer. And right now, become a member for $8 a month of their Total Comfort Club. And here's what you're going to get: an AC tune-up, a furnace tune-up, and a plumbing check. So get ahead of the problems before they start. Priority service. So if something goes wrong, they are right at your door to help you out. And if you do need repairs, members get 10% off service. 651-615-4292. Call MSP.com is the website. Call MSP.com. All right, Dukes, we're on a little bit of a tight schedule because of your day today. So where would you like to go next? I'm going to throw it to you to take us.
Well, we can go to the Vikings. I will add. Okay, so Giannis turned 30 in December. So if we go back to 21, Bucks win
26
the championship. 26, right? We don't see a 23-year-old get across the finish line. We just don't. Now, hey, I get it. How weird is this postseason? The fact that it took until Game 2, Denver OKC, for a home team to win. I fully understand that.
It's the hockey playoffs, Dukes. It's my sport. Your sport's turned upside down. Like, what's going on? Celtics blow 2 20-point leads. It's crazy. I never thought I would see this in my lifetime. The most predictable playoff sport has nothing predictable now.
Yes, I mean, how about Tyrese Haliburton, the Pacers, not once but twice overcoming, a 7-point deficit in the final 60 seconds? Like, there's been 1,600 and something playoff games going back a long time, right?
Pacers twice.
And it happened one time before this postseason. A comeback, 7 points down or more, a minute less to go. And now Indiana's did it twice. It's freaking crazy. All right, on the Vikings, so I just got this. So next weekend, so we know this weekend, Vikings rookie minicamp. Next weekend, the 31st annual NFLPA rookie premiere. It's Panini card shoot, but they also educate these guys on how to invest their money, some life skills. And so Ty Felton will represent the Vikings in Los Angeles the weekend of May 14th to May 17th. it's a lot of the skill guys, right? When thinking about Panini, the trading cards, we're not talking about offensive linemen. So it's not like Donovan Jackson didn't get an invite, but Tyler Booker got an invite. No Booker invite, no Jackson invite, no Zabel invite. The quarterbacks, the receivers, the running backs. So anyway, Ty Felton will be at that. Also on the Vikings, we touched on this a little bit. Josh Metellus is the next logical extension candidate. Continue to hear a couple things. That Josh Oliver, plenty comfortable getting to free agency. And on Jalen Naylor, there hasn't been any dialogue. Not that the Vikings are like, okay, we drafted Felton. Guess what? Like Naylor, you're now the number 4 receiver. I think Naylor's going to have some good opportunities this year, but I think the idea is he'll get paid pretty well elsewhere. Think about Patrick Jones. Good year for the Vikings, gets paid in Carolina. I think with Jalen Naylor, hopefully in his case, Speedy can stay healthy, contribute to the Vikings winning this year, then he ends up elsewhere next March.
Okay. All right. Twins.
Yeah, well, I mean,
what you got on the Twins?
Playing their best
red hot,
baseball, right?
Dukes.
Yeah, Byron Buxton on a roll. I mean,
how great is that?
And outside of Wallner and Keishel, pretty darn healthy. Now, Wallner, it's still going to be weeks. Keishel, it's still going to be weeks. So that stinks. But even Correa, maybe just a little bit, catching a little bit of fire. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, I still think the American League is so much weaker than the National League. But the Guardians, Royals, and Tigers are winning games.
I know.
Right? So, like, the Twins go on this little run. They really haven't, picked up any ground in the Central. But encouraging to see, while I also acknowledge that, okay, the White Sox from last week stink. The Orioles didn't necessarily think they would, but they stink. Yes, you beat Crochet on Sunday. You win the series at Fenway. Impressive. You have a series win over the Mets. Impressive. So certainly trending in the right direction. I think for the most part, we really like the starting rotation. So that has come to fruition. How about Danny Coulomb, who's been unreal in the bullpen? 16 appearances, hasn't allowed a run so far. Darren, 5 for 5. Save opportunities. His stuff looks really good. It looks like Griffin Jax has overcome his hiccups from a few weeks ago. So things are trending in the right direction. But I don't know if the Tigers in particular are going to slow down. I think the Tigers might be the best team in the American League.
No, they're legit, and they've been coming on. Like that was a young team. That guys, the prospects didn't thrive, but you could see it coming. So yeah, they're absolutely, I think, going to be a season long problem. All right, Dukes. So you're going to what? Wolves shoot around? You're going to where next?
Wolves shoot around.
Okay.
Hope to make it over to Target Field. Maybe middle of the game, late in the game, post game interviews. Then see where the rest of the day takes me. Just based on some personal logistics, I think it's easier for me to watch tonight's game on the couch after a couple things, baseball practice, band concert. And so just trying to navigate it all, Judd, you know it. I mean, 7:30, like I think a lot of fans are like, 7:30, thank God we have a normal start time.
Yeah.
I'm in the minority. The later, the better.
No,
like
no,
8:40
screws up my whole day. I got to take a nap the next day. I get very tired. I get very tired. And then don't forget, too, there's a fighting chance by 5 p.m. Central, Brandon Hyde blown out by the O's because the Orioles absolutely suck. If they get swept by the Twins, I'm probably going to fire him. So that's just another little storyline in town as well. We will talk to you again on Tuesday, Dukes.
Okay, Brandon Hyde, he was in the mix for the Twins job before they hired Rocco Baldelli.
He might be in the mix again if Baldelli gets blown out, so who knows?
I mean, that's something we'll keep an eye on. Joey Lombard from Anoka High School, South Dakota, FCS All-American. He just took part in the Chiefs rookie minicamp. He just texted me. He will be in New Orleans this weekend taking part in the Saints rookie minicamp.
Tryout guys. Okay, cool. All right, Dukes. Talk to you on Tuesday.
All right, see you, boys.
That's the scoop with our guy, Dukes.